The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Welcome to the wonderful world of wellness with Dr. Andy Mencia. This medical program heard from 7 to 7:30 each Saturday right here on WSBR 740 AM is brought to you by the Adult and Geriatric Center under the medical direction of geriatrician Dr. Andy Mencia. Thanks for listening to the wonderful world of wellness with Dr. Andy Mencia. Be sure to tune in each Saturday morning from 7 to 7:30 right here on WSBR. Okay, well, your summer school. That sounds like something that we're on the show now. Earlier, are we on the show? I think you had to change something, right? Okay, we're on the show.
We have been on the show since yesterday.
Yeah, we've been on the show. We've been on a lot of shows. So tell us about the expo. Did people get to see you and know you and meet you?
A lot of people got to. Yeah, they came by. We got to talk. There was a wonderful couple, Faye and Simone. And they listened to the show, and she said, I read the article, and I'm calling my sister in New York. Listen to Dr. Mencia, get your thyroid checks. It was wonderful. It was great. Yeah. And Simon, what a great guy. He gave me a lot of Jewish advice. For me to be a happy man.
Please don't be happier than you are. I don't think I can handle it.
And he said, all I do, I just take off my hearing aid. I say, I hope you put them on when my show is on.
It's true. It's true. I mean, no, they were so thrilled to meet you. They kept saying, where's Dr. Mencia? I hear him all the time. Where is he? Where is he? Well, I'm glad. But, we've been talking about...
It was in reality, a lot of us go there more for marketing than anything. But it was a good way of listening to the listeners, turning the table around, listening to what they have to say, what they like, what they don't like, and so on. So nothing that there was no complaint, nothing that they didn't like. They enjoyed the show. They say you and I bring so much life to the show together. So and they are looking forward to the TV show.
Oh, yeah.
So many people when is it going to start? You guys say it was in November, now in December.
Yeah, I know. So we're working on it. We hope it's going to start in March, actually.
For everybody out there, you need to understand that Anita is a perfectionist, and until everything is not done right, she will not take off. So, and I respect her for that.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we're going to make it so it's fantastic, and once you see it, you will be able to see Dr. Mencia in action, and you're going to love it. You're going to be glued to it. So, okay, and we
have to say thank you to all the volunteers that came in. It could not have happened without them.
Always, that's true. Our volunteers were spectacular.
Everything ran so smoothly. Yeah. Wow, so nice.
It was great. Well, I have to also say to Dr. Rosemary, who gave out these toothbrushes. I do have to say, I love my toothbrush.
I didn't get one.
Don't take mine. It's mine. Don't take it.
I'll go and complain to the administrator.
It's wonderful. I've got a toothbrush. If you didn't get a toothbrush and you want one, I'm going to give you a number to call, and we're going to get them sent out to you. It's 954-489-1345. It's the Adult and Geriatric Institute, but Dr. Rosemary had these toothbrushes all beautifully wrapped for people, so she doesn't know I'm doing this, and I'm sure all of a sudden there's going to be a lot of calls for a toothbrush, but it's still good. Just give your name and address. We'll get you on the mailing list.
And ask for the dental department when you call.
Dental department. Tell them that you heard about it on right, Mike. You heard it on the radio show, and that we're going to give you those toothbrushes because they're special. They're so sweet. I love it knowing that Dr. Rosemary's like on the other end of this. I love it, the whole design.
And, they are flexible. You see the head of the toothbrush is flexible so that when the person is brushing.
No, I didn't see that part of it.
It's flexible.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So it's sort of more to the mouth.
Oh, my gosh, it's wonderful.
It is really great. It's a great
design. And are we going to give it out free?
It's free.
Oh, my goodness. Well, don't take mine.
No. But I'm going to get one. I didn't get one.
Anyway, so we're going to have everybody call. This is the number, 954 489-1345. And just ask Mike or talk to his dental department. Tell him you want a toothbrush. Okay, well, every week we decide on another, Dr. Mencia decides on another topic. And we've covered a lot of topics, but he said that he has a special one he wants to talk about this morning.
Yes, I have my topic today for our audience, our faithful audience out there, is on Parkinson's disease. And I saw a few guests at the expo, and they came to me and they asked me, well, I've been diagnosed with Parkinson, and I went to see a neurologist. They told me to wait on the treatment. What do you think? Should I wait? Should I start treatment? What's the best thing to do? And I say, wow. So as soon as I left the expo, I went to prepare my topic, because I say, that was the wrong information to give this person. There's one person that said to me, I say, wow, this is so bad. And the reason that you don't want to wait, and this is pencil talk, so make sure you grab your pencil and jot it down, because I'm sure if you don't have Parkinson, you might have family members that have Parkinson. The early Parkinson disease, just like Alzheimer's disease, they are progressive neurological condition. Progressive means that it will just get worse with time. So a person with prostate cancer is a very slow-growing cancer. It's a very different animal. Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease, these are progressive conditions. They will just get worse with time. So you have to be aggressive from the get-go, either with holistic approach or with traditional approach, or the way I like to do with a combination of things. But we have to be aggressive from the get-go, and this is the reason why. When you have Parkinson's disease and you have the symptoms, that now you need to go and search for help to your doctor, that means that 70%, almost 3/4 of the cells called neurons that produce the chemical that is missing called dopamine, 70% of those cells have died.
Wow.
When you have symptoms. So if you sit and wait until you have 90% of the cell lost, what the medication are going to be doing for you? So it makes no sense, and I told this guy, change your doctor. Okay, with your doctor, you don't have to come and see me. Change your doctor, get another neurologist, get somebody that can be aggressive with you. And, thank God he just had the beginning of the symptoms, which means that he has about 60-70% of the neuron already lost. And, and he definitely had Parkinson just by talking and giving me the symptom that he had. I said, I don't even have to touch you. I can tell you have Parkinson's disease.
Well, can we move back a minute and give people who are sitting there some symptoms?
One thing that you're going to look for, if you have what we call resting tremor. A resting tremor is like if you put your hands on your laps or you put the hand on your coffee table and you look at your hand and you see that your hand is shaking. That's a resting tremor. If you grab your cup of coffee and rest it on the table, but watch to see if that coffee is moving, that's a resting tremor. The other thing you can do at home, grab a piece of paper or a magazine and rest it on your hand and put it on like that, and you see the paper don't move. If you have Parkinson, it will be making this noise like that.
Okay.
So resting tremor is one of the hallmark of Parkinson's disease. There's another condition called bradykinesia. Brady means slow. Kinesia means movement. So slow movement of the person. So when they are moving, they move somewhat slower than before.
You like when they're walking, you mean?
When they are walking, when they are talking, when they grab the cup, like you just did now, to bring it to your mouth, everything move at slow motion. So the slow motion of movement, the people, your wife or your husband or your brother or sister come to you or your kids, say, are you okay? You're so slow, what's going on? The other thing is called rigidity. So everything get very rigid Like when you have, let's say, fluid in your knee get very rigid. You cannot bend it. So the same thing with Parkinson, but there's no fluid. Just, when you walk, your arm don't swing like before. Everything get very rigid in your body. So you feel stiff. So rigidity is stiffness of your body.
Excuse me, but not stiff like someone has a stiff arm or something.
Something like that, but it's a stiff body. Like let's say somebody put you inside, just like when you put your hand in wax. Have you ever done that?
Yes,
put your hand in wax and then take it out and it feels like stiff, but it feels good because it's warm.
Sure.
But when you take it out and it feels kind of stiff, imagine your whole body being waxed.
Really?
So it feels stiff like if your body being waxed now. So you are.
Excuse me, and is it constant or does it come and go?
No, it's constant. That's why it's a constant condition. And it just gets worse. It just gets worse. That's why when I spoke with this person at the expo.
How could you tell? So you said you knew when he came up because you could see the tremor?
Well, I saw the tremor and we were talking and I say, listen to the show and we talk about all kinds of conditions, dementia, osteoporosis, incontinence, blah, blah, blah. And he was saying, what do you know about Parkinson? I said, yes, we have a great neurologist at the office and myself, I treat a lot of patients with Parkinson. So we started talking about Parkinson. He said, I have this tremor and I'm bending forward. And so he gave me the symptom and I look at his hand. I see his hand shaking. I see his flat affect of his face. So when I started examining him just with my eyes, definitely he has Parkinson's disease. And when he say, and I went, they sent me to see my primary care doctor say, don't get treated now, it's too early. And then I went to see a neurologist, and the neurologist concurred with the primary care doctor. I say, wait, say that again. Did I hear you right? And he said, yeah. I said, no, that is not right. I don't care who your neurologist is, and I don't care who your primary care doctor is, but run from them. Go and get yourself a good doctor that understand that you have Parkinson's disease, and they will put you on treatment.
Why would they say that? Why would they say not to do it? Is it serious medication or something? What is it that they would even say that?
I think ignorant in one part, probably from both doctors, I would say, because a neurologist is a specialist. This is what you study. This is your livelihood. Maybe the neurologist was trying to be nice to the primary care doctor and say, okay, the primary care doctor say the wrong thing, but I need a referral, so let me just agree with him, even though I disagree. I don't know. And, the beauty in my practice is that my neurologist has the right to disagree with me, and I have the right to disagree with her too. My dentist can disagree with me. I can disagree with my dentist or my podiatrist. I mean, that's what it's not that we all have to be in harmony and agree with everything. We need to work together for the wellness of my patients. But we don't have to agree on anything, Can
I ask you a question? Was there a man named Parkinson? How did that come?
Oh, Parkinson, yeah. Well, that's one of the researcher. That's what the name comes from. One of the researchers that did most of the work on this was Dr. Parkinson.
Yeah. If I could let him get. Unfortunately, he discovered something that was pretty bad. But so you have Parkinson patients?
Right.
Do you know
the guy that came to me yesterday, and by the way, for the ladies there, this disease affects equally. It will not discriminate on sex. It'll affect equally men and women. So the guy that I saw yesterday, his tremor was in his non-dominant hand, his right-handed, and the left hand was the one with the tremor, which is very typical of Parkinson when it begins. We can stage Parkinson from stage 1 to stage 5, and we're going to write an article on this so people can read about Parkinson's disease. So stage 1 is when a person has signs and symptoms of Parkinson's disease on one side like he has, but they still able to function. They are very functional. They are not falling. They can still go to work. They have, they are perfect otherwise, except that they have maybe the tremor on one side. They have some of the signs and symptoms, but they are functional. Where a stage 5 Parkinson's disease, just to take you to the other extreme, is a person that now is either bedridden or wheelchair bound.
Wow.
He will not be able to stand by themselves or take any more steps or anything like that.
Wow.
So when you lose the dopamine producing cells called neurons in this part of the brain, it can be a big blow to your level of function. That's why it's something that the moment you start feeling the tremor, you need to get that taken care of. So the asymmetry onset is the norm. So usually it starts on one-sided. It's a one-sided condition when it starts. That's the norm. Sometimes we get patients that they come in with both sides being affected, but very, very rare. And other ways we know that we are dealing with Parkinson and not with something like familial or benign tremor is that the Parkinson patient will respond to levodopa, because it's giving back what the patient is missing, because the cell, they produce dopamine. So giving them levodopa, they will respond to that.
Excuse me, when you say they respond, they'll stop tremors?
The tremor will stop completely or will slow down. If they were not able to walk, now they can get up and walk. Yeah. Now, if you have family member with Parkinson's disease, okay, you need to keep yourself checked, because first-degree relatives are at twice the risk for developing the disorder compared to the general population. So if you have a family member that you know has Parkinson's disease and you are a first-degree relative to a family member, you must keep an eye on this, because the earlier you detect, and it can come at early age, in the early 40s. I have a lawyer, she is 43, when I diagnosed her with Parkinson's disease. And she's still functioning, she's still working, she's great. But she came because she went to one of my lectures in one of the major hospitals, and we were talking about tremors and Parkinson's. And she came in because she had this tremor. Being a lawyer, she didn't, she always tried to deal with the tremor. She came to listen to my talk.
So I want to just ask you a question. So you're saying that by taking this levodopa, is it called?
Levodopa.
Levodopa.
And you spell it L-E-V as in Victor O, D as in Delta O, P-A,
right,
as in apple.
So you could just stay on that indefinitely?
Well, there are a combination of medication that we use that we try to replace the dopamine that is missing. And the different medication that we have available work in different, they have different way of getting back to the brain and working on the cells that are alive. Because remember, you're losing neurons. The neurons that are dead, they are dead. They won't work. So we need to try to replace what the dead neurons won't be able to do anymore. And then the other medications start working on the good neurons to keep them alive and to keep them producing.
Okay.
So there are different modes of action.
That's a good explanation. I really appreciate this. I've never heard this before.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, when this guy was telling me, I said, do you know that 70% of your cell can be already dead, by now? No, don't wait. Don't sit and wait. So that was worth everything for me to be at the expo yesterday.
Yes, I'm glad you were there to help him.
And then one of the questions he was asking me, what causes Parkinson's disease? Why do I have Parkinson's disease? And like we just said, first-degree relative. So genetic is one of the causes that had been studied. When I was in Mount Sinai, New York City, teaching there, we had a department that all we did was just study Parkinson's disease. The whole department was devoted to Parkinson's disease, and we can reproduce the conditions and what have you in rats, and it was very interesting to see the different study that we were doing there. But what we have found so far is that genetically there are some chromosomes. So if you want to jot this down, it's chromosome number 3, number 4, number 6, and number 2 that have some focus or area that a lot of the Parkinson patients, especially when it's among relatives, they have a missing link in some of those chromosomes. Also, it had been associated with pesticides and herbicides.
Really?
So when you bring the people to come to work in your house or your farm or your ranch and your apartment, your office, you want to make sure that they are using products that are acceptable to human. Because the pesticide is the product that we use to kill the cockroaches and the ants and that stuff. The herbicide is what we spray outside the house, right, to kill the bad seeds or the leaves and what have you. Viral causes. There was only the what we call the post-encephalitic Parkinsonism, and this was in one occasion in history. There was an outbreak of a viral infection that it produces inflammation of the brain. And so being viral, patient just received supportive care. And in the history of medicine, it had been documented that people that were followed after this encephalitis or inflammation of the brain, that they developed Parkinson. And there was a big conglomeration of individuals that were affected with the inflammation that became affected by Parkinson's disease. So viral infection, but not viral infection that you get in sinusitis or sore throat, is something that have to go. It's a viral that need to go into the brain to produce that level of damage.
And you're telling me this comes from pesticides and herbicides.
Right.
And what do you just tell people who are exterminators, you want something that's acceptable to human beings? Well, how do you know?
You want to know what product they are using.
And how will they know? What will we know? When they tell us, then how do we know if it's acceptable?
It's in the contract. They have to sign a contract with you. And when you sign that contract, you have to put in that contract that they will inform you of the product.
And then what? And then when we get the name of the product, what do we do?
Well, the other thing you can do is randomly, you can have them give you a sample of what they're going to spray that day.
Okay, but then how do we know if it's good or not?
The Department of Health will answer.
Really?
We'll give you free information. You take it to the Department of Health.
Really?
And they will do and this is important because if you pay for like I do, I have a ranch, so I have to pay for the herbicide, and I have to pay for the pesticide in the ranch as well as in my office. You send this to the Department of Health, and you guess what? Sometimes they just spray H2O, water. So they just go there and spray water and say, well, we have to pay the rent this month. So
I see, but we also want to make sure they're not sending.
It's a reputable company, right?
That's very good. Thank you very much. That's really important. Sometimes, you hire an exterminator, maybe they're really cheap, and maybe the reason they're cheap is because they're not giving you the right product.
You know why my title after MD? Have you noticed in my car? It says CMD.
Yeah.
Certified Medical Director.
I didn't know what the C meant.
CMD means Certified Medical Director. The reason I bring this up because of the next point I'm going to discuss now about medication. You know my position toward over-medicating patients. And I wanted to say over 50%, but I'm going to refrain from saying that because I have to do the study. But I want to say over 50%. Just jack it down 50%. But I'm going to say a significant number of elderly patients in nursing home and assisted living facility, they get prescribed antipsychotic medication. In Medicare rules and regulation, we call this chemical restraining. Chemical restraining, because those people get prescribed antipsychotics not because they are psychotic, it's because they might be agitated, they are not following the rules. So the same thing that they used to do to prisoner of war to keep them calm and keep them relaxed, and to the Jewish people when Hitler was killing people. The antipsychotic medication is a way of restraining people. Okay, and a significant number of elderly patients get prescribed antipsychotic when it's not indicated. The reason I bring this up is because one of the causes of Parkinson's disease could be medication related. And on top of the list go the antipsychotic agents. So if one of your loved ones is taking antipsychotic, you always want to make sure that if they need it, because I treat a lot of patients with bipolar disorder, and my field was psychologist before becoming an MD, and I treat a lot of my psychiatric condition myself at the office, unless it's at a level that I need to get a consultation. At least I get the patient started on something. And the antipsychotic, especially a high dose, and I don't care if my patient is bipolar or schizophrenic, what is the lowest dose I can give my patient to keep them controlled?
Wonderful.
And when you are taking antipsychotic at a very high dose, that can trigger Parkinson's disease, can produce the disease. Also, if a patient is taking lithium, an excessive amount of lithium, and lithium is a natural salt. So for those of us that like holistic approach, it's an ideal drug, but at the right dose again. Too much lithium can definitely produce the signs and symptoms. Medication that when people keep going to the doctor and say, well, I'm not digesting well, the food is not moving down, what is going on with me, blah, blah, blah. So they say, okay, take Reglan. Reglan make the guts move, which is true. It's good to take it for a short period of time. But Reglan, in itself, it can produce or exacerbate or bring about a Parkinsonism type of picture. So in medication, we need to be very cautious. And the triage, well, let me give you the phone number. Let me give you the office phone number, because we are so into this, right? We are so into this. We have to give the phone number.
You've mesmerized all of us. Okay, I've got to give you the phone number. Okay, everybody, get your pencils out. Please write this down.
I just need to take a break to have a little water.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. But we have the dental. We have, we gave you the number for the brush. It's the same number.
It's the same number.
954-489-1345. 954-489-1345. If you're looking for a physician who has all these feelings and knowledge about taking care of you, how could you not go to Dr. Mencia at 954-489-1345? We're going to do an article for the February issue on Parkinson's. Isn't that right? That's what we're going to do for February.
This is going to be the next issue. Is going to be on Parkinson's.
Yeah, we have a couple of minutes left.
And because of the main point that we talk about, the fact that 70% or more of the cells that produce the dopamine, by the time you go and ask for help, they are already dead. They won't come back, because there are so many conditions out there that can, and medication you can be taking, and people, especially if you have a loved one in a nursing home, please just, you need to get a list of their medication and, do your own work. Just do your research and see, what is this medication for? What is that for?
And if you can't do that, go to Dr. Mencia. Talk to him. Let him be your doctor. Let him be your loved one's doctor, and that's what
I don't want to see you in a nursing home. So if I can keep you out, I'll keep you out.
Yeah.
So the triad is three things that we normally see will make us think of Parkinson's disease. Is the resting tremor, the bradykinesia is the slow movement, and the rigidity, like putting your hand in the wax, but your whole body is in wax. And then other feature that you're going to have is like a mask face. So you see people with Parkinson's disease, their face look like they're masked, like they're also with being waxed. And a lot of times the people get confused and they think they are depressed, but it's not depression. They will not complain of depression. They cannot blink. They have a reduced number of blinking. So if you observe a person with Parkinson's disease, they stare at you, and you're waiting for them to blink. You will blink so many more times before the person will blink. The speech will become slow, and it's something we call hypophonia. So when a person talks like this and the voice starts going down and down, instead of having a live and being able to go up and come down, they stay down all the time. Okay. So the hypophonia.
You know what? We run out of time.
Oh no! Well, we have to do 3 hours. We have to do. But remember the stages. Remember the stage. Stage 1 to stage 5. And you don't want to be in bed. If you do nothing, absolutely.
We're going to get you on that medication, and we thank you very much for coming in after our big day yesterday. Just listen to our next interview, and we'll be back same time next time. Bye. Thanks for listening to The Wonderful World of Wellness with Dr. Andy Mencia. Be sure to tune in each Saturday morning from 7 to 7:30 right here on WSBR 740 AM.
The opinions